Bore da blant, sut o'i ti? How are you? And how are you feeling about having some visits back to school and maybe seeing some of your friends again? I expect you'd be really glad to catch up with some of your friends. I thought we'd start this morning with a new song. Now, Mrs. Hughes and I, when we were in year 2 together, we used to sing this with year 2 children. It's called O Diolch am yr Haul yn Gwenu. So there are a few verses. It's thank you for the sun that shines. Thank you for the moon tonight. O diolch am y lleiad heno. O diolch am y ser yn wincio. Thank you for the stars that twinkle. And o diolch am gael byw yng Nghymru. Thank you for us living in Wales. So diolch am yr haul yn gwenu. Diolch am y lleiad heno, the moon tonight. Diolch am y ser yn wincio, the stars that shine. O diolch am gael byw yng Nghymru. Thank you for having us live in Wales. Shall we sing? Barod? Boys and girls, the story I have today is all about Betsy Cadwallader, and she was a nurse in Victorian times, so long ago in the past. Let's find out about Betsy Cadwallader. Betsy Cadwallader was born on a farm near Bala in the year 1789. Her mother died when she was 5 years old, and her big sister had to take care of her. So her sister looked after her. Chwaer yn Gymraeg. When she was 9 years old, nawoed, Betsy went to work for a rich man named Simon Lloyd. She cleaned the house and made the beds, and she worked very hard. Mr. Lloyd was a kind man. He taught Betsy how to read, write and how to play the harp. Celyn ydi harp yn Gymraeg. But Betsy was bored with Bala. I want to see the world, she said. When she was 14 years old, she ran away to Liverpool. She soon began to see the world because she worked as a servant to a very rich family who travelled a lot. She visited London, Llundain, France, Ffrainc, and then Italy, yr Eidal. Then she became a servant to a sea captain and she sailed all around the world. Dros y byd, across the world. She visited India, Africa, Australia and China, and she saw many wonderful things. Where do you think you would like to travel to if you were able to travel? And why would you like to travel there? Betsy travelled for many years. At last she said, "Oh, I'm getting too old to travel now. It's time to settle down." One day, Betsy read in the newspaper about a war in the Crimea. Many soldiers were wounded and they needed help. Betsy said, "I will become a nurse and I will help the soldiers." Betsy put on her grey dress, her grey cloak and a brown bonnet, and she sailed to the war. She worked in a hospital run by Florence Nightingale. But Betsy was not happy. She said, "We are still too far away from where the soldiers are fighting." Florence said, "You cannot go closer. It is too dangerous for women." Betsy said, "Nonsense," and she ran off to Balaclava, the place in the Crimea where the soldiers were fighting. Many soldiers were sick. Many were wounded. Many were dying. There was very little food and there were no beds for the soldiers. Betsy found food and beds and she helped many of the soldiers to get better. Then Betsy herself caught a fever and she had to be sent home. The soldiers were really sad to see her leave because she'd looked after them so well. Betsy